Hello, I'm Carl, and welcome most warmly to the newly and rather splendidly upgraded WordSmith YouTube channel. Now, over the past little while, life has afforded me the opportunity to take a rather meaningful step forward in this journey. I've recently moved into a new place, and with it comes something I've long dreamed of creating, which is essentially a studio or a dedicated space for content creation, a proper little sanctuary for music, ideas, and analysis. So within this room sits a new camera, a fresh desk setup, improved lighting, soundproofing to keep the outside world politely at bay, and a rather capable new PC, and all assembled with one purpose in mind: to bring richer, clearer, and more thoughtful explorations here on called the WordSmith YouTube channel. But let me be clear about something. None of this would exist without hard work and your generous contributions. So before we dive into today's musical dissection, allow me for a moment to just demonstrate sincere gratitude to everyone who has watched, commented, shared, encouraged, and supported this channel over the past 2 years and 3 months. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart, truly, thank you. Your enthusiasm, kindness, and curiosity about music have helped transform what began as a modest creative endeavor into something far more meaningful. So this space quite literally exists because of you. And once again, thank you ever so much. Now then, let us turn our attention to the reason we've gathered today. We're about to step into something I've been told that is quite intense. It is the Patreon first reaction of the month. It is Slaughterhouse by Ren featuring Kit. So if you enjoy thoughtful musical analyses and thoughtful explorations, please do support the channel by liking, commenting, sharing, and of course, subscribing to the channel. If you would like to support the channel in a more direct way, you can join my Patreon for as little as $2 per month. All of the links to my other donation avenues are in the description below. In my Patreon, you'll find early access to videos, exclusive content, and a community of listeners who delight in examining music just as deeply as we do here. You can also support through PayPal, Super Thanks, or by becoming a YouTube channel member. Every contribution helps keep this little creative sanctuary alive and thriving. Now, without further bloody ado, let's dive straight into it, shall we? Okay, Slaughterhouse, Ren featuring Kit. Let me just adjust this. Okay, here we go. A very brittle piano effect. Oh, Elysium. Tartarus. Okay. We're in mythology. Gaia. Okay. So Greek. Is this Kit? I'm assuming it is. All right. Okay, now this is a banger. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Great effects. Okay. Interesting. So there's a lot going on musically. This is a straight up banger, but lyrically there's a lot going on. This is a channel about lyrical analysis, so yeah, let's take a look, shall we? Okay, so just looking through all of that, what I'm immediately struck by is the music's curious, almost insurgent temperament. It bears the hallmarks of what to me sounds like alternative rap, that deliciously defiant cousin of the mainstream rap that we are used to. And it's the place where genre is not a boundary, but a solvent. The production shifts with a kind of mercurial intelligence. So one moment we are in the grit of an echo and garage-like percussion, beats skittering like rain against corrugated iron. The next, a subtle reggae lilt emerges, syncopated and serpentine, as though the rhythm itself has loosened its collar and began to sway. And this elasticity of style, it's not decorative, it is psychological. The music refuses stasis because the mind it accompanies is in turmoil. It is as if the instrumental landscape mirrors a consciousness ricocheting between agitation and resignation, between clenched teeth and hollowed sigh. And lyrically, Ren opens with a cry that is at once publicly and profoundly intimate. What was it? Somebody, anyone, help. Now, the repetition is not redundancy by any stretch of the imagination. It's desperation incarnate. This is not theatrical despair, but the staccato gasp of a soul cornered by its own reflection. I've been at odds with myself. Now, that's a devastatingly precise articulation of internal schism. The enemy here is not an external villain, but the fractured self, health eroding not merely in body, but in spirit. When he confesses to feeling like deleting myself, the modern vernacular just chills us. The language of technology becomes the language of self-erasure, as though one might simply press a key and vanish. Then I like Kit's vocal. I like the lyric that she's singing. And I believe it's the chorus, which descends like a grim procession. Walls are closing for the chosen. Welcome to the slaughterhouse. The imagery is industrial, mechanized, dehumanizing. And it's dehumanizing bodies, zipped and frozen. Individuality has been vacuum sealed and processed. The slaughterhouse here is not merely a place, it is a metaphor for a system, societal, psychological, perhaps even digital, that grinds the vulnerable into silence. And so what I'm witnessing here, is not just a performance, but a sonic allegory, a mind under siege, scored by beats that fracture and reform, and framed within a world that feels chillingly indifferent to the fragility of the human condition. So, frightening, interesting start, but I'm loving it. Okay, let us continue on. Gruesome graphics. Oh, the rhythmic cadence is phenomenal. Oh wait, that's him. Huh. Loving the production. Oh wow. Oh jeez. Okay, I thought it was going to taste it. Nephilim. Damocles, okay, we're getting biblical. Oh. The syllabic alliteration is fantastic. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I gotta pause it because that was absolutely ridiculous. The way he manufactures and strings out his lyricism is unlike anyone else I have ever heard. Legit. It's quite frightening how talented he is. Let me explain what I just heard, because I'm pretty sure he's making reference to stories regarding religion, Christianity to be more precise. Okay, so the second verse unfurls like a fevered tapestry of imagery, dense, bruised, and almost barrack in its emotional architecture. Ren opened with the line, "I crawl over shards of shattered glass." Now that immediately invokes a landscape of agony through which the narrator must inch forward, wounded yet unwilling to surrender. The phrase that he used, a masterclass of surviving inside a plaster cast, that is wonderfully paradoxical. It's absolutely brilliant. And it's survival rendered immobile, healing that simultaneously imprisons. It speaks to the strange condition of enduring trauma. One is technically recovering, yet utterly constrained by the very mechanisms designed to protect. He made a reference as well to the Batman world, Arkham Asylum, which is in that universe, the insane asylum, and the reference conjures the chaotic psychological theater familiar from Arkham Asylum. And as we know, it's a place synonymous with fractured minds and nocturnal torment. And Ren positions himself as both inmate and observer of his own mental labyrinth. It's like a martial artist battling invisible adversaries in the dark corridors of the psyche. And then the verse spirals into a dazzling collage of metaphors. I like what he said, cold steel incision. And that suggests surgical intervention, perhaps literal, perhaps emotional. The graphics tell a similar story, because while the admission of having made a mountain of a molehill hints at the mind's tragic talent for magnifying suffering, the biblical allusion to the sword of Damocles is particularly striking for a few reasons. Number one, the artist, in this case Ren, lives beneath the perpetual threat of collapse. Two, the blade of fate suspended by the thinnest filament. So when Ren describes himself as a heaven-sent Nephilim roaming the earth with a broken wing, he borrows from the enigmatic giants of scripture, literal giants, the Nephilim, to depict a being once celestial, now crippled and wandering. Divine potential tragically being maimed. The closing line of the verse, abort the fetus and here lies the body of Ren. Now he's used that line before, I think it was Seven Sins, or Sick Boy, which feels like him self-mythologizing the symbolic killing of a former self, an identity sacrificed in order to survive the crucible of his own mind. The bridge that follows is quieter but perhaps even more devastating. Ren reflects on the harsh alchemy of suffering. Pain makes men out of boys. A line that acknowledges the brutal education of hardship, yet the maturity it produces is bought at a terrible price. Friends lost, bodies as well, body bagged, and memories that ache in the subdued, almost embarrassed register of grief. It still hurts low-key. The imagery of concrete streets breeding wolves from sheep speaks to an environment that corrodes innocence, forcing gentleness to evolve into predatory resilience. And when he dedicates the moment for the Broski, the performance briefly sheds its mythic grandeur and becomes heartbreakingly human. A quiet toast to absent companions, a reminder that beneath the grand metaphors and apocalyptic imagery lies something profoundly simple, and that's love, loyalty, and the enduring echo of those who walked the road with us but could not stay. Okie dokie. So let us continue, shall we? Oh, I love that. Oh, he did a delay on the view. And now they're synchronized. Yep. Oh. Fire in the booth. Yet to do that one. I'm loving the... Graphically, this is so intriguing. He looks like a boss, though. That's an AK. Oh, that's very graphic. Oh. Onomatopoeic, very clever. Oh man. Yeah. Oh jeez. Welcome to the Slaughterhouse, bitch. Okay. Honestly, between the imagery and the lyrics, it's very, very difficult for me to track what's going on. So I am looking at the lyrics and the music video again. Okay. This is probably going to be in my top 5 favorite songs. I wanted to do a video where I rank some of my favorite Ren songs, but then realizing how many times after reaction I have stated that this is my favorite Ren song, only to be replaced by the next video. So that seems like a Brobdingnagian task, but if anyone is interested in that video idea, please do let me know in the comment section below. But let's wrap up here. Okay, so the lyrical terrain, I think in these final verses, becomes increasingly frenetic, almost volcanic in the creative combustion. I believe that's verse 3. It bursts forth with a propulsion of a runaway engine, pedal to the metal. And that's signaling not merely speed, but reckless abandon. Ren summons archetypal figures of temptation and duality. Notice the 2 that he mentioned, the devil and Jezebel. Now, those are embodiments of moral chaos, while the invocation of Dr. Jekyll gestures towards the age-old psychological schism between civility and savagery. What we are hearing is a portrait of inner multiplicity. It's Ren wrestling with the darker tenant within his own psychic property. The macabre flourish of turning your clique into Skellington crew carries the sort of skeletal whimsy of Jack Skellington, yet beneath the Gothic playfulness lies a warning, and this is lyrical vivisection. Even his declaration, "I'm lying in truth," it hints at rap's paradoxical theater, exaggeration deployed in service of emotional honesty. Then in verse 4, I believe, Ren becomes something akin to a polymathic trickster, boasting not merely of skill, but of stylistic mutability. Switch up the style with such ease that identity itself seems fluid. The metaphors tumble in gleeful succession. Muscular imagery of biceps and triceps flexing becomes a stand-in for verbal dexterity. Thunder and lightning evoke the crackling genius of Nikola Tesla, while the mischievous laboratory chaos of Dexter captures the sense of a mad sonic artist tinkering with linguistic electricity whilst hacking people to death, if you've watched the show. And Ren presents himself as both inventor as well as executioner. He's the debt collector of the rap arena, suggesting that artistry here is not merely expression, but conquest. And then we get to a little bridge that briefly widens the lens beyond the individual psyche towards society's fraying seams. The chorus of he say, she say captures the petty cacophony of modern discourse, a world distracted by trivial quarrels while deeper fractures lie within and widen. The line referencing the KKK is particularly striking. The metaphorical act of killing a ghost along with the KKK suggests confronting the lingering specters of hatred and historical injustice that continue to haunt cultural memory. So, as far as I can tell, in Ren's framing, the ghost is not supernatural but ideological, a relic of prejudice that survives precisely because it is seldom confronted directly. And then from there, the song kind of plunges into the savage theatrics of verses 5 and 6. Well, I'm labeling them arbitrarily here, where the slaughterhouse metaphor reaches its grisly crescendo. The imagery is intentionally abrasive, steeped in the hyperbolic violence long embedded within battle rap tradition. Not literal menace, but symbolic warfare. The lyrical equivalent of gladiatorial combat. And Ren depicts himself as the artist who has bled for his craft, declaring a kind of resurrection through music itself. A performer who refuses burial, rising again with renewed ferocity. And that, dear viewers, that's the slaughterhouse, which becomes less a place of destruction than a crucible. A brutal industrial metaphor for the creative arena where identity, trauma, and artistry collide. What emerges from that furnace is not merely aggression, but a strangely triumphant declaration that through the chaos, through the ghosts, through the fractured psyche, the artist still survives, sharpened, louder, and utterly unignorable. And so we emerge from Slaughterhouse, perhaps a little unsettled from the graphics, but perhaps enlightened and hopefully enriched. But I should very much like to hear from you. What did you make of it? Which lyric lingered the longest for you? Which moment struck deepest? Please do share your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the new setup. And please know our discussions are in many ways the true heartbeat of this channel. If you have found value in today's exploration, please do consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. It truly helps this community grow and ensures that thoughtful musical analyses continues to find its audience. And if you would like to support me, Carl, here on the Wordsmith more directly, you can join my Patreon for as little as $2 per month. All of the links are in the description below, as well as my Buy Me a Coffee, PayPal, Super Thanks, and many others as well. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do take care of yourself, do be kind, do be gentle, do be respectful to one another, and help each other out when you can. And I'll see you lot in the next video. Take care, everyone. Cheers.